Let's dive into Kramer's training so we can stay consistent at home. Whenever he's doing behaviors that we want to keep seeing or he's following our commands, we want to reinforce and reward that with either praise, petting, or treats. And then whenever he's doing things that we don't want to see, whether that's jumping up on us, he's getting a little too crazy, or he's not going to follow our commands, we're going to follow through with our training equipment to decrease those unwanted behaviors. So let's go over Kramer's training equipment. This is his slip collar. I have him on a slip collar still because I feel that he responds to it very well and it's easy communication with him. I have not switched him over to a prong collar, but in the future, if you notice that he is not responding to the slip collar the way we want him to, you are more than welcome to switch him over to a prong collar, and I will go over how to use that throughout the exit class. But right now, a slip collar has been working great for Kramer. So how we put this on is we're going to create a loop, put it over his head. It's going to go right behind his ears and right underneath of his chin. And then we're going to use this tab to cinch it down so that way it doesn't create too big of a loop and so it stays nice and high on his neck where we want it. Now how we use this, say he is in the heel command. Heel is that nice loose leash walking on the left side. Say he starts to pull ahead or he does something that we don't want to see in the heel. We're going to say no to mark the incorrect behavior, follow through with a pop of the leash, and then remind him heel. So no, pop, heel. And then, of course, when he gets back where we want him, praise, petting, and treats to reinforce and reward where we want him to be. Then the leash is going to attach to the other side on this ring. With the remote collar, how we turn this on and off, red dots on both the collar and the remote. Touch these together. That green light means the collar itself is on, charged, and ready to go. On and off button on the back of the remote. We're going to push and hold until the screen lights up. We're going to see level 25 appear on the screen. This is Kramer's working level. And then we're going to focus on the black S button today. S just stands for stimulation, so it's kind of like an electric muscle stimulator. How we use this, say he's in the heel again, and he starts to pull ahead or does something we don't want to see. We're going to say no to mark the incorrect behavior. Black S button, heel. No, button, heel. And then, of course, when he gets back where we want him, praise, petting, and treats to reinforce where we want him to be. Now, depending on the level of distraction, you may use one of these, you may use both of these. Just depends on the situation that we are in with Kramer. With the remote collar, it's going to be the first thing that we put on in the morning, and then it's going to be the last thing that we take off at night, so we always have a form of communication with Kramer throughout the day. With the slip collar, he's going to wear this whenever he's on a leash. So in the beginning, he may have the leash and slip collar on in the house to introduce the new commands and new boundaries inside of the house. Then we can slowly fade away from where we don't need the leash and slip collar in the house, and we can focus on the remote collar in the house. But that is Kramer's training equipment. So now let's go over his commands. Heel is the nice loose leash walking, so about 80 to 90% of our walks should be in the heel command. The other 10 to 20%, we can give him the release word free. Free means he's not in any set command. This is going to be his time to go do his business, do his own thing, where we follow him rather than him following us. Now we have sit. Sit means stay is implied until he's given the release word free. This is really good for those door manners, so he can't just bolt through doors and pull us along with him. Rather, we have to sit and stay until he is released. So say we approach a door, whether it's inside or outside, we're going to have Kramer sit. Sit means stay is implied, so as we're opening the door, if he gets up, follow through with the training equipment, and then we're going to try it again until he gets it right, so we can set those same boundaries that we have here at home. So say he sits and he stays, great. Now we have two options. You can either free him through the door on his own, or you can heel through the door with him. Just depends on the situation that you are in. And now we have down. Down means stay is implied until he's given the release word free as well. With down or any of his stay commands, whether it's sit, down, or place, we're never going to release him from a distance because then he will get rewarded for coming to us and not staying in his stay commands. When we're practicing the down, say we do a little bit of a distraction, we're going to go back to Kramer, we'll reward him low to the ground so he knows where that positive zone is, and then we can release him from where he is. Say we're practicing the down and he gets up and he comes over to us. No big deal. Follow through with the training equipment, guide him back over to where he was in the down, close to it, and then put him back in the down. Do the distraction again, and then you can reward him and release him. Now we have place. Place is a boundary stay, ideally on an elevated bed. This one's really good for whenever we're having guests coming over, so that way he isn't bombarding everybody at the door. He is a big guy, so he can knock somebody over if he gets a little too crazy. So whenever we have guests coming over, we can go put Kramer on his place, have guests come over, and then just like with down or sit, we're not going to call into us to release him. We can go back to Kramer once he's nice and calm, reward him on the place bed so he knows where that positive zone is, and then we can release him from where he is. When first practicing this one in the house and with bigger distractions, I would definitely suggest we have a leash and slip collar on him so we can guide him and kind of maneuver him where we need to if he does get up from the place bed. Now we have come when called. When practicing come when called, I would suggest having a 30 to 50-foot leash on him when we're practicing, so that way we have a way to communicate with him from a distance, and it allows him to get away from us, but we still have that leash to communicate with him. So we'll let Kramer go get distracted, do his own thing. When we want to call him to us, we're going to say come, nice, loud, and firm, praising him as he's coming to us, backing up just a little bit to invite him into our space. Then we have him sit, and then we give him the reward. Say whenever you're practicing this one, Kramer gets a little distracted out there. He's sniffing something, he's distracted, and we ask him to come into our space, and he is too distracted and he ignores us. What we're going to do is say no, follow through with the training equipment, whether that's a pop of the leash or a hit with a follow through of the remote collar, and then we're going to call him again. Just because he made a mistake out there doesn't mean we're not going to be fun. So we're going to call him, go right back into praising, and then when he gets into our space, we'll have him sit and we still give him the reward, because just because he made a mistake out there doesn't mean we're not going to be the positive zone. We're always going to reward when we're doing this command, so he knows that there's always a positive for coming into our space. Now we have leave it. Leave it just means don't grab that. When practicing this one, start out with dog safe foods, toss it on the ground, say leave it. If he does, great. If not, follow through the training equipment. I would suggest having a slip and leash on him, so if he does, we have the way to guide him into different scenarios to communicate with him. So toss it on the ground, leave it. If he does, great. If not, follow through. And then if he does, we have an option of letting him go pick it up off the ground, or just never giving him the option to pick it up off the ground, so he never thinks it's appropriate to pick food off of the ground. That's completely up to you and what you want for him. If you want him to eat stuff off the ground, you can tell him free and then let him go eat it. But that is completely up to you and your standards for Kramer. And that is all of Kramer's commands. So we're going to make sure we positive reinforce everything that we want to keep seeing from Kramer. And then the things that we don't want to see, we're going to follow through the training equipment to decrease those unwanted behavior. Now we're going to watch Kramer do his commands. We're going to have fun, stay consistent, and here he is. Sit. Nope. Sit. Or down. That's fine. Down. Down. Good boy. Sit. Nice. Good job, buddy. Free. Kramer, come. Good boy. Good job. Sit. Nice. Good job. Free. That's smart. Kramer, come! That's a good boy! Sit. Why am I itchy? Free. No itchy. boy. Down. Good. Down. But it's okay. Good. Down. Down. Good boy. Down. Down. Good boy. Good. Down. Good boy. Good. Down. You want that? You don't? That's okay. Good boy. 3. Good boy, Kramer. Place. Let's dive into the other features of the remote. Now that we know how to turn it on, let's go over how to turn it off. Same concept, both the red dots, we're going to touch these together. That red light means the collar is off. On and off button on the back of the remote, we're going to push and hold until the screen goes off. Now I'm going to turn it back on and we're going to go over the other buttons on the remote. We've already gone over the black S button. That is going to be whatever number you see on the screen. On the other side, we have the T black button. This is a vibrate feature. When we press this, the collar vibrates. We like to use this to make sure the collar is on and ready to go. When Kramer gets further into his training and you notice that he doesn't need the stem and he's kind of pushing a boundary, you can absolutely use this as like a warning to get his attention to let him know, hey, you're pushing a boundary. But Right now, we can use it to make sure the collar is on and ready to go. Now, underneath the black S button, we have a red S button. This is a boost feature. You're going to see level 25. When I press the red S button, it is going to jump to 50. This is a communication tool that we can use when Kramer is doing something dangerous that could cause him harm. So say he gets loose and he starts chasing a car and he's having a blast chasing this car. Level 25 only reaches about here. Whenever he is out chasing a car, doing something dangerous, he is up here. So now we have an instant way to communicate with him when he's doing something dangerous. Because his adrenaline is up, we need a way to communicate with him whenever he's in that excited state of mind. So red S button is going to be for emergency cases only. Now on the back of the remote, we have an M/C button. This stands for momentary or continuous. If you look at his screen, you can see the M. That stands for momentary. So no matter how long we press the black or the red S button, it is only going to be a momentary stimulation and then it is over. In the beginning of his training, we started out at continuous at a very low level to introduce the color itself in a positive way. And then when he gets further into his training, we moved over to momentary at a little bit of a higher level. So he should stay on momentary the rest of his training. The on and off button also works as a flashlight feature. Rather than holding it to turn it on or off, we're going to press it. Pressing it once is a flashing flashlight. Second time is a solid flashlight. Third time, it turns it off. So this is really nice if you let him out at night so you can still see him and see what he's doing. Then notice that level 25 is on the screen. Say it's not working, whether he's having too much of a reaction or you notice that he's not responding to it at all. What we can do is hold down on this dial until that 1D at the top of the screen starts flashing, and then we can rotate this to whatever number we think is going to work for Kramer. Level 25 has been working great, so what I'm going to do is lock that into place by turning it back to 25 and holding down until the 1D stops flashing, so that way when we put this in our pocket, we can't accidentally change his level. Now on the back of the remote, we have a charging port. Both the remote and collar are rechargeable and they stay charged for about 2 days if he wears them for 12 to 14-hour days. So if you charge it every other day or every third day, he should be good. Underneath the prongs is where the charging port is on the remote or the collar. Then it comes with dual charging ports, so you can charge them both at the same time. So that way you don't have to worry about one of them dying and one of them not being charged while the other one is fully charged. Then Kramer does have a little bit of longer hair. If you notice that his prongs aren't making good contact, these are the shorter ones, you are absolutely more than welcome to switch him over to the longer prongs. Right now, the shorter prongs have been doing great, but if he gets his hair a little bit longer, they may not make good contact, and you may have to switch him over. And it does come with the tool to loosen them and tighten them back on. Now at the bottom of the box, we have the manual. If you're somebody that likes to read the manual just to get all of the information about it, you're absolutely more than welcome. There are other features of the remote, like a tone feature. You are more than welcome to switch it over if you want, and it goes over all of that in the instructions. This does have a 2-year warranty, so if you have any issues with the remote or color, get in contact with the company. They are at the back of the box, and hopefully they can get something new sent over to you or fix the issue. They both are waterproof as well, so if he gets wet, if he's going to stay wet for an extended period of time, no big deal. I would just rotate the collar so that way it's not irritating and rubbing one part of his neck too much and causing a rash since it's wet. Well, that is all of the other features of the remote. So just like in the beginning, we're going to have fun, stay consistent, and that's everything.